I am the law in this city. The words cut through Providence Municipal Court like a blade. Dominic Harrington, 26 years old, stands at the defendant's table in a charcoal Tom Ford suit, Patek Philippe watch catching courtroom light. Judge Coprio's pen stops mid-signature. 3 seconds pass. 5. Mr. Harrington, you're addressing a magistrate appointed under Rhode Island general law. I suggest you reconsider that statement. Dominic shifts his weight, jaw tight. My father owns Harrington Global Securities. We fund half the public infrastructure in this state. Your father's contributions are public record, Judge Coprio replies, voice even. They do not grant you immunity from traffic law. Sit down. The courtroom is packed. Front row. Officer Daniel Reeves, Providence PD, body cam footage logged into evidence. Behind him, Margaret Chen, 67 years old, neck brace visible. Behind her, 12 journalists recording every word. Subscribe if you believe wealth should never be confused with authority. Miss Deborah Lewis, court clerk, rises. Case 2024 TR 8847, State of Rhode Island versus Dominic James Harrington. Charges: reckless driving, failure to yield, leaving the scene of an accident, obstruction of justice. Dominic sits. His attorney, Richard Mallory from Crane and Westbrook, leans in to whisper. Dominic waves him off. I'll handle this. Judge Coprio opens the file. 247 pages. Mr. Harrington, how do you plead? Not guilty. This is a waste of the court's time. The court determines what wastes its time, Mr. Harrington, not defendants. He turns to Officer Reeves. Officer, walk us through October 3rd. Officer Reeves stands. Your Honor, at 2:47 p.m. I observed a black Lamborghini Aventador traveling northbound on Benefit Street at 72 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour school zone. Posted signs were active. Children were present on sidewalks. Dominic scoffs. That radar gun hasn't been calibrated in 6 months. Judge Coprio's gaze doesn't shift. Mr. Harrington, you'll have an opportunity to present your defense. Right now, you're interrupting sworn testimony. That's your first warning. I activated lights and siren, Officer Reeves continues. The Lamborghini accelerated through the intersection of Benefit and Power, failing to yield to a Honda Accord occupied by Margaret Chen. The Lamborghini struck Mrs. Chen's vehicle at 48 miles per hour, impact to driver's side door. Mrs. Chen's vehicle rotated 90 degrees, came to rest against a brick wall. The Lamborghini fled northbound. Margaret shifts in her seat, neck brace catching light. The vehicle was located 40 minutes later in Harrington Tower parking garage, engine still warm. Front right quarter panel showed fresh damage. I observed the defendant exiting the elevator with keys in hand. I identified myself as Providence PD. He told me to leave or he'd have me fired by end of day. The courtroom murmurs. Judge Coprio raises a hand. Silence returns. He stated, quote, I don't answer to city employees. You answer to me. Dominic stands. That's a lie. Judge Coprio's voice hardens. Mr. Harrington, sit down now. Mallory tugs Dominic's sleeve. Dominic sits, nostrils flaring. Officer Reeves, did you recover evidence from the collision scene? Yes, Your Honor. The Lamborghini's front bumper detached on impact. VIN matched defendant's registered vehicle. We also recovered the dash camera SD card during impound. Judge Coprio leans forward. The vehicle had a dash camera. Forward and rear facing, Your Honor. Footage shows the entire sequence from 2 minutes before impact through defendant fleeing. Dominic's face drains of color. We also obtained body cam footage from Harrington Tower and building security footage showing the defendant arriving in the damaged vehicle. Judge Coprio nods. Let's start with the dash camera. The screen flickers on. Timestamp October 3rd, 2:45:18 p.m. Benefit Street stretches ahead. Speedometer climbs 52, 61, 68, 72 Mamantit Pass. Children appear on the sidewalk, backpacks bobbing. A crossing guard raises a stop sign. The Lamborghini doesn't slow. Watch the intersection, Officer Reeves narrates. A silver Honda enters from the right, proceeding lawfully. The Lamborghini doesn't brake. It clips the Honda's driver door with brutal force. The impact sound cracks through speakers. The Honda spins. The Lamborghini's hood crumples. Then the engine revs. The Lamborghini accelerates away. The Honda sits motionless, driver door caved inward. The screen goes black. Silence. 10 seconds. 15. Judge Coprio removes his glasses. Mrs. Chen, would you like to address the court? Margaret stands slowly, gripping the rail. I was picking up my granddaughter from violin lessons. I saw the black car coming too fast. I thought he'd stop. The impact threw me against the door. I couldn't move my neck. I couldn't feel my left arm. I kept thinking about my granddaughter waiting, wondering why I was late. She pauses. 4 days in Rhode Island hospital. 3 fractured ribs. Herniated disc at C5-C6, severe concussion. I can't drive anymore. I can't lift my granddaughter. Every time I close my eyes, I see that black car not stopping. Thank you, Mrs. Chen, Judge Coprio says gently. Please sit. He turns to Dominic. Mr. Harrington, you said you'd handle this. Tell me what happened. Dominic stands. I was late for a meeting. Sometimes you don't realize how fast you're going. And the collision. She pulled out in front of me. The dash camera shows she had right-of-way. She was already in the intersection when you entered at 72 miles per hour in a school zone. I didn't see her. Because you were driving recklessly. Why did you leave? Silence. Officer Reeves, the call logs. Within 90 minutes, 6 calls from defendant's phone. First at 3:02 p.m. to Police Chief Sullivan, 4 minutes. Second at 3:09 to Mayor Brennan's office, 6 minutes. Third to City Solicitor Torres. Fourth, fifth, sixth to different council members. Judge Coprio's eyes narrow. Did any officials respond? Chief Sullivan declined to interfere, forwarded the call to Internal Affairs. Mayor's office logged it, referred to legal. Every official reported the calls as potential obstruction. Mallory stands. Your Honor, my client was seeking legal guidance. Legal guidance? By calling the police chief and mayor before calling 911 or rendering aid? Judge Coprio leans back. You want to write a check and make this disappear. Money can buy cars, Mr. Mallory. It cannot buy character. Mallory sits. Mr. Harrington, stand up. Dominic stands, hands balled into fists. Based on dash camera footage, Officer Reeves's testimony, Mrs. Chen's statement and your admission, I find you guilty on all charges. Your statement, I am the law in this city, will be entered as evidence of your state of mind. You are not the law, Mr. Harrington. You are subject to it. The courtroom is motionless. Sentencing, reckless driving in a school zone, $5,000 fine. Failure to yield causing injury, $3,000 fine. License suspended 2 years. Leaving the scene, $10,000 fine. 90 days county jail. Suspended contingent on completion of terms. Obstruction of justice, contempt, $25,000 fine. Dominic's breathing quickens. 500 hours community service. 200 hours with Rhode Island DOT repairing roads. 150 hours with Safe Streets Rhode Island speaking to high school students. 150 hours at Rhode Island Hospital Trauma Unit. Judge Coprio pauses. You will write a personal apology to Mrs. Chen, not drafted by your attorney. Your words. If it reads like a legal document, I reject it. You will produce a public service announcement explaining what you did, why it was wrong, what you learned. You fund production and distribution. Mallory stands. Your Honor, this is highly unusual. So is telling a judge, I am the law. Sit down. You will meet Officer Reeves monthly for 6 months. He reports to this court. Miss 1 hour of service, write an insincere apology, produce a PR scripted PSA. I activate that 90-day jail sentence immediately. Understand? Yes, Your Honor. Bailiff remand Mr. Harrington for processing. 2 bailiffs approach. Dominic glances at Margaret. She doesn't look away. He drops his gaze first. If you believe influence should never touch traffic cases, subscribe to Order in the Court. Week 1. Monday, 6:04 a.m. Dominic stands on Route 6, orange vest over grey sweatshirt. Doty Crew Chief Ramon Valdez hands him a trash picker. Litter detail, 2 miles, both sides. I'm 4 minutes late because of traffic. You just lost your first hour, start walking. November wind is sharp. Cars pass at 60, kicking up dust. Dominic bends, picks up a crushed cup. His back aches after 20 minutes. By noon, his shoulders burn. Week 2, Safe Streets Rhode Island office. Director Patricia Moreno slides a folder across. You'll speak to juniors and seniors in driver's ed. 45 minutes per session. Questions after. What do I say? The truth. They've all seen the video. Don't try to spin this. Week 3. Classical High School Auditorium. 217 students, phones recording. Dominic stands at the podium. My name is Dominic Harrington. 3 weeks ago, I drove 72 miles per hour in a school zone, hit a 67-year-old woman, and fled while calling people to get me out of trouble. The room quiets. I thought rules were for other people. I was wrong. A girl raises her hand. Why'd you run? Because I thought my family's money could fix it. I thought I was untouchable. A boy stands. Do you actually feel bad, or are you just saying this? Dominic looks at him. First week I was furious, but last week I met the woman I hit. She's in physical therapy 3 times a week. She can't pick up her granddaughter. I did that, so yeah, I feel bad. Speed is physics, not privilege. A Lamborghini doesn't stop faster because it costs more. The law doesn't care who your father is. The bell rings. No one moves. Week 5. Rhode Island Hospital Trauma Unit. Dominic wears scrubs, assists orderlies, restocks supplies. On his 3rd shift, a 19-year-old motorcyclist arrives. Struck by an SUV at 50 miles per hour. Fractured pelvis, ruptured spleen, traumatic brain injury. The boy's mother collapses in the waiting room. Dr. Sarah Kim finds Dominic. You're the Harrington kid. Yeah. Every traffic fatality we see is preventable. Someone decided their destination mattered more than someone's life. You got lucky. Mrs. Chen is alive. That kid might not be. Remember that. Week 8. Dominic submits his 3rd apology draft. Handwritten. 2 pages. Mrs. Chen, I don't know if you'll read this. I'm writing because I need to say this. On October 3rd, I almost killed you. 72 miles per hour, impact at 48. Those numbers are the difference between you being here and not being here. I didn't think about you at all. I spent the first week angry at everyone except myself. It took 3 weeks picking up trash, standing in front of high school kids, watching trauma surgeons fight to save a motorcyclist to realize I wasn't the victim. You are. You can't drive. You can't pick up your granddaughter. You flinch when cars pass fast. I read your statement repeatedly, trying to understand. I'm starting to. I can't undo what I did. I can pay bills, speak to teenagers, spend 500 hours repairing damage, but I can't give you back your peace of mind. I'm sorry. I know that's not enough. I know words are cheap from someone who tried to buy his way out 90 minutes after destroying your life, but you deserve to hear it. I was wrong. I am not the law. I never was. If there's anything beyond what the court ordered, tell me, I'll do it, because I owe you a debt I'll never repay. Dominic Harrington. The clerk calls 3 days later. Judge approved it. Week 12. The PSA is filmed. No script. Dominic looks into the lens. My name is Dominic Harrington. On October 3rd, 2024, I drove 72 miles per hour in a school zone, struck a 67-year-old woman and fled. I then tried to use my family's wealth to avoid consequences. I failed, and I'm glad I did. I thought I was special. I was wrong. The law doesn't care who your father is. Physics doesn't care how much your car costs. I spent 3 months picking up trash, speaking to students, working in a trauma unit. I saw what reckless driving does, in mothers who can't pick up grandchildren, in 19-year-olds who might not wake up. If you think you're above the law, you're not. If you think your destination matters more than someone's life, it doesn't. If you think money erases consequences, it can't. Slow down. The footage airs 2 weeks later. Within 48 hours, 2.3 million views. Month 6, final hearing. Judge Coprio reviews completion logs, affidavits, attendance records, the apology, PSA view count, Officer Reeves' monthly reports. Mr. Harrington, you completed all 500 hours. Your PSA has 3 million views, now part of Rhode Island Driver's Ed curriculum. Tell me what you learned. Wealth is not a credential. Status is not a defense. No one is above the law. What else? Consequences aren't punishment. They're education. You didn't send me to jail because jail would have been easy. You made me see the people I hurt. That's harder. That's why it worked. Mrs. Chen, anything you'd like to say? Margaret stands, no neck brace, moving carefully. I received his letter. I saw his PSA. I don't know if 6 months undoes 26 years of entitlement, but he's trying. He called to help pay for my granddaughter's violin lessons since I can't drive her. I said yes, not because he's buying forgiveness, because he's repairing harm. I still flinch when cars drive fast. I still see your car in nightmares. But I see a young man who told 3 million people he was wrong. That takes courage. Dominic's eyes are wet. Judge Coprio stands. Mr. Harrington, I'm closing this case. Suspended sentence remains on record. License suspension remains 2 years. But you've fulfilled terms and demonstrated genuine change. However, I'm recommending 7 policy reforms to Rhode Island General Assembly and Providence City Council. First, mandatory body cam footage preservation in all injury traffic cases. Second, automatic felony charges for leaving injury accident scenes. Third, enhanced obstruction penalties including mandatory community service. Fourth, victim impact statements required in school zone reckless driving cases. Fifth, restorative justice traffic court pilot program. Sixth, funding for Safe Streets Rhode Island statewide expansion. Seventh, annual judicial training on recognizing privilege-based courtroom intimidation. These reforms will be drafted within 60 days. This case proved wealth doesn't place anyone above law, but it also proved accountability paired with education can transform lives and systems. Mr. Harrington, you're dismissed. Don't come back. I won't, Your Honor. Thank you. Dominic walks into November sunlight. Officer Reeves waits on the steps. They shake hands. Margaret Chen watches from the doorway, granddaughter holding her hand. She nods. Dominic nods back. 2 years later, Judge Coprio's reforms are Rhode Island law. Restorative Justice Traffic Court expanded to 12 municipalities. School zone reckless driving fatalities dropped 34% statewide. Dominic's PSA shown in every driver's ed class, adopted by 17 states. Dominic works as Community Outreach Coordinator for Safe Streets Rhode Island, speaks at schools twice weekly, answers every question honestly. His license was reinstated. He drives 15 under the limit, always. Margaret completed physical therapy, drives again, carefully. Her granddaughter is 12, still plays violin. Margaret attends every recital. Dominic funded a scholarship in her name at Rhode Island Philharmonic Youth Orchestra. Judge Coprio, reviewing files 3 years later, pulls the Harrington folder. He reads Officer Reeves's final report. Subject completed all terms with genuine effort and measurable change. Recommend as restorative justice model. Justice is not just punishment. It's restoration, transformation, making whole what was broken. When systems create space for genuine accountability, paired with consequences and education, change becomes possible. I am the law in this city, Dominic once said. He learned he was wrong. The law is not a person. It's a principle. It bends for no one. But it can transform everyone willing to submit to it. Should every privilege-based intimidation case include mandatory public accountability? Tell us below.